Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Jay Reed.
And today is our fifth journey into the world of David Lynch on film. This is our final film before we actually take a brief leap for Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, which we won't be discussing in this month of Lynch. We will save that for a total dive into Twin Peaks in the future. This is Wild at Heart.
Can I talk to Lula?
You are not gonna see him ever.
I'd go the far end of the world for you, baby.
A man can't ask for more than that.
You move me, Sale. You really do.
You want me to shoot Sailor in the brains with a gun?
Uh-oh. I didn't have much parental guidance.
Yes.
And one certainly, perhaps enjoyable is the wrong word, but I think it's certainly one of the most populous and watchable.
Kind of, yeah.
Baby, you better run me back to the hotel. You got me hotter than Georgia asphalt.
This whole world's wild at heart and weird on top.
Actually, I'm going to open. This was Roger Ebert's review. So Roger Ebert famous American film critic, loved Eraserhead and thought it showed great promise.
Yeah.
This was his review of Wild at Heart, and then he hated Blue Velvet. Said it was, derogatory to put Elizabeth Rossellini in those sort of positions. This was Roger Ebert's review. Wherever it was critical response. Here we are. Wrote that Lynch is a good director, yes, if he ever goes ahead and makes a film about what's really on his mind, instead of hiding behind sophomoric humor and the cop-out parody of parody. He may realize the early promise of his Eraserhead, but he likes the box office prizes that go along with his pop satires, so he makes dishonest movies like this one. In what world does somebody watch Wild at Heart and go, this is going to be the blockbuster of the year?
It really sweeps at the Oscars. I don't know. I don't get his opinion on early Lynch, to be honest. Especially
it was it was budgeted at around 10 million, and then it won about 14.6 million, which again, if you do the rule of doubling for marketing and all that, is really nothing.
No.
It did, however, win the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and amidst rampant booze. This is one of his only movies, pardon me, that is based off a novel.
Yeah.
And it's by a Barry Gifford novel, which I haven't read. I don't know if you have.
No, I haven't.
And really, for me, on this watch, I mean, we're both theatre people. I really got that sort of Tennessee Williams, heat, pulpy, grimy, sexual, violent world of Tennessee Williams in this rewatch.
Yeah, it's very. Yeah, I'd say they have the same vision of America, him and Barry Gifford in a way, and then obviously slightly Lynch, but
And then Lynchified.
Yeah.
What's your experience with Wild at Heart? Was it in that sort of period that you've talked about where you watched Twin Peaks and then you marathoned all the movies, or was this something that you knew of before? Did you come at it from the Cage angle, or?
It was when I marathoned the movies, but I think I watched it towards the end instead of in order because I wasn't as interested in it. However, I've since watched the film 4 times. Yeah, it's very enjoyable.
It is.
Yeah.
And it does have that sort of Cage angle and Laura Dern angle and just great ensemble angle of it is perhaps, and it's weird to say for a film that is again so dark, it flies by, and it's certainly one of his most watchable movies, I think.
Yeah, I know. I watched it last night. I started at 12. And then when I finished, it felt like it flew by, and it's a long-ish movie.
It's 2 hours, 2 hours and 5.
Yeah.
And it's not one where you can say 2 hours and then credits because you want to watch every second of the credits, as we will get to later.
I'd say for me, it feels shorter than Eraserhead and Blue Velvet, even though it's longer.
I disagree with Blue Velvet. I think Blue Velvet maybe I think if you wanted to make a favoritism aside view of things, I would put Blue Velvet second to Mulholland Drive.
Oh yeah, I like Blue Velvet more.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just more, I don't know, like dense in terms of darkness. I think, but it's kind of like you getting thrown things at you, whereas this, it's more like you're having a milkshake. And it goes down really quick.
Because of that pop culture sensibility that Roger Ebert's talking about in a bad way, but I see it as a very, very, very good way. That, you know, the whole Elvis of it, it's like a perverted version of one of those Elvis movies. You know, Nicolas Cage has not made it any secret that the entire performance and persona of Sailor is based on Elvis Presley. He did go on to marry Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's daughter. That happened. YouTube comments. Okay. The prototype for half of Tarantino's films. Do you get a Tarantino vibe with this? I don't know if I do directly.
I kind of do. I'd say parts of it, like the bank robbery, I could agree. The exploding heads. But obviously there's... And I'd say the character, what's his name? You know, the one that's, he had like a really memorable name and I'm forgetting it. Santos.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very Tarantino. And I'd say so is Isabella Rossellini in it. I'd say maybe some inspiration. I know Tarantino still liked Lynch around this time. So maybe.
I guess it's got that thing of, you know, violence and pop and songs and people immediately just conflate the two. How have I never seen this movie before? You had me at Willem Dafoe and Nicolas Cage in the same movie, directed by David Lynch. Jesus, my brain just broke. Everything is ugly, but the movie is so beautiful. Great director, David Lynch. I agree. He's a great director. I almost forgot how insanely seductive Laura Dern is in this movie. Well, this is something that was interesting for her because up until this point, she'd very, very, very much been, as we'd seen in Blue Velvet and her other movies around this time, she'd been perfect girl next door. And Lula is so sexually dominant and so in control of her sexuality and so plainly sexy and visceral that it was a clear departure. And again, it's that faith of a good director-actor relationship, and I don't whether it, that combination of Dern and Lynch.
You really get why
wonders.
Lynch loves her with the roles he gives.
Yeah, Tidbit calls it Tidbit.
Yeah.
Those listeners who don't know. Let's get into Wild at Heart, best 10-minute stretch. Here are my sort of pseudo 5 nominations.
Okay.
The nightclub, and the first time he sings, into them having sex and into them talking after, and just brings us into the sensibility of what this film's going to be with the thrash metal, and then suddenly Elvis, and then all of that,
sex.
and then sex. The into New Orleans and sort of meeting Mr. Reindeer and meeting in brief moments all of the characters that we're going to meet constantly in between sex. The motel, meeting Bobby Peru as Willem Dafoe as Bobby Peru, delightful. Yeah. Well, not delightful. Villainous and terrifying. The robbery. And then the finale, which is quite bizarre. It feels like an epilogue.
Yes.
In so many ways.
I completely forgot Cheryl Lee was in this film.
Did you? And that's the part that's always stuck with me. That's one of my favorite parts.
I completely forgot.
Lula! It is that, we'll talk about, we'll save that for Soundtrack Corner. But it is just a great melting pot of music. And again, how does it work? We don't know, but it works so indefinitely. Have I missed anything in 10-minute stretch? What when you think of Wild at Heart and you think of your favorite parts, what are you thinking of?
Okay, so it's not 10 minutes, so I'm not.
That's fine.
I'd agree with most of yours though. So yeah, like I'd say the motel bit as well from when they're talking around the camp.
Yeah, Jack Nance.
Atmospheric. You might think of Toto. It was very atmospheric and nice and Lynch. Crazy Clown Time kind of. Yeah.
Well, we keep talking about ensembles. This was obviously released in 1990, but was around the time of Twin Peaks getting made, and the timelines aren't so well known. But this is just filled and overflowing with Twin Peaks characters.
Now go get yourself a beer. You fellas have a lot of the same power E had. Y'all know this one? Treat me like a fool, treat me mean and cruel, but love me, break my faithful heart, tear it all apart, but love me. Won't you love me? Wherever you ever go, darling, I'll be oh so lonely. I'll be sad and blue, crying over you, dear only.
Twin Peaks actors.
Yeah.
And it's just delightful.
Jerry Horn, Audrey. Yeah.
Even Happy Gilmore's grandma, who's in Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me as the and the show as the mother of the kid who looks like David Lynch with the mask.
Oh yeah, and of course Harry Dean Stanton.
Stanton. Everybody's marvelous in this movie. So for those of you who don't know, I never usually say plot descriptions, and I don't know why. The movie follows the subtitle for the novel is the story of Lula and Sailor. Oh, Sailor and Lula or whatever. And it is that classic thing of scornful parent who won't let their child be happy with their loved one, and star-crossed lovers and all that, and they go on the run. And the great part about this is that obviously Diane Ladd, who is playing Lula's mother, is Laura Dern's real mother. and they're just sensational. They have I don't know if you could call it chemistry between the mother and the.
They have a good dynamic.
Good choice, Jay. But Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern have great chemistry, and their love, their sex is all very believable, and their tenderness for one another in many parts of the film. And it just adds a really nice atmosphere to a film that so could easily be very wacky.
It could be.
And yeah, it's just painfully dark and wonderful.
Also, yeah, the chemistry between them two. It's fantastic. And yeah, so I started the film and my girlfriend was watching the start of it with me before she went to bed. And yeah, she was like, why is Nicolas Cage so hot in this film?
Oh yeah, he's a very handsome man in this, yeah.
Has that energy as well.
Yeah, it's his hottest movie. I don't think anybody's going to climb for The Rock. unless Con Air, I mean, if you're into long hair, I guess it could be Con Air. National Treasure, we're going to steal. What does he say in the trailer? What was the big trailer line? We're going to steal.
What? I don't know.
Or also, if you like long hair, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, which I watched for a birthday party. Sean Aurum, if you're out there, that was his birthday party, I believe. Yeah.
I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
There we go. I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence. I think, again, it's that we keep talking about it with Lynch, we keep talking about it, but it's that obscene handling of tone that seems almost impossible.
Yeah.
And it's that level of confidence that he has in his actors and that his actors have in him that's almost incomparable.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when The Return was airing of Twin Peaks, I saw someone comment that the structure of scenes was very reminiscent of Wild at Heart, which I kind of agree in terms of how it bounces from tone to tone.
Yeah, and character to character, with few people taking us all the way through, but very disparate. And I guess more so in Mulholland Drive, the puzzle-esque quality to his narratives. People like to say dismissively they don't make any sense and they're just experimental and stupid. But no, they do make sense.
They do.
And even when they don't make sense, he has given us a conclusion that makes sense, and then has given us another episode, which just pulls away all of your happiness and contentness. Yeah. Tom's weirdly specific favorite parts of the film. I love Diane Ladd drinking a martini, almost looking straight into camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. The jump on the bed with all the nail. Very delightful. The dad on fire. I like a man on fire.
Really?
I like the movie Man on Fire, but I also like, I like a dummy. Well, no, it's not a dummy. I like a fake man on fire and flailing about, and I enjoy it a lot. I love Mr. Reindeer on the toilet when we first meet him, and then he brought in one of his prostitutes to dance for him instead of just reading the newspaper. I mean, the image that has always stuck with me is Diane Ladd covered in lipstick, and that
me too.
The previous scene, just a little bit, and you're going, okay, and then the next scene, she's red.
Yeah.
What do you feel about all of the Wizard of Oz stuff in this?
I don't know.
Is this should we pencil this for what's the change? Because I overall, I enjoy it, even though every time it's so on the nose and bizarre.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Okay.
I like Nicolas Cage smoking 2 cigarettes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bobby Peru's death is insane.
It is.
Was he trying to kill himself, or was that by accident?
I think it was by accident.
And then I love, they can reattach them now. They can reattach hands. Where's the hand? And the dog's just running off with it. It's wacky and slapsticky, but it's brutal and it's dark and it's violent. And again, how can you pull this off? Jay's weirdly specific favorite part.
Okay. The Sherilyn Fenn scene. For the first time, actually, this actually really hit me emotionally. I don't know why. The soundtrack was beautiful.
Yeah.
Her acting was, and then Sailor and Lula's reaction, just it all like hit for me last night. I don't know why. Maybe because I had headphones in, so I was sucked in. I think that's probably one of my favorite bits of the film.
Well, it's like a harbinger of doom. It's we're on this journey, and we're having a great time, but no, people die, and it is that sort of bringing down to reality, and the fact that it's not just a few seconds, it's stretched out for a little bit, and then that final gush of blood is so brutal and so waterfall-y, for lack of a better way to term. Gushing blood is very graphic and very brutal. And anything else?
I'd say the very start, where the guy goes up to Nicolas Cage to announce that he's going to kill him, and Nicolas Cage just brutally beats him to death after going like, "Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. Oh no."
Bobby Ray Lemon. Great names. Phenomenal names in this. Bob Ray Lemon. Yeah, you want to fuck your mother. Yeah, she said she wants to fuck you. No, and then Laura Dern's there all the entire time. Sailor! And all the while under this, In the Mood by Glenn Miller's playing.
And then it stops, changes to something else, and then it goes back to playing afterwards.
It does. Well, actually, that's a nice segue into Soundtrack Corner. Again, we have sort of like 4 prevailing themes of music. We have the Slaughterhouse by Power Mad. And it was only with subtitles that I realized they were screaming Power Mad when they pull over to the side of the car and, "Look, Sailor, get me some music on that thing." And it's like rape, mutilation, violence. And and then we power, and I always thought they were just screaming, but no, they're both screaming Power Mad, Power Mad. Not that you can understand them. Baby Please Don't Go by Van Morrison and Them. Every time we cut to Harry Dean standing in his car, every time.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice that.
It's like in it's like in Magnolia, where without logic, every time we cut to William H. Macy in his car, he's listening to "Dreams Can Come True." Oh God, I fucking love Magnolia. I love Magnolia. Love Magnolia. And then also maybe the biggest piece of music in the film is Wicked Game by Chris Isaak, which came out the previous year and was pretty big in cult crowds. And although this wasn't a huge success of a film, they made a video. David Lynch directed the video, which was footage of Sailor and Lula and Chris Isaak in black and white in like a background. And that's when Wicked Game became a hit with this film.
And the best part of that for me is that every time I watch the film, even if I'm not feeling it, I fall in love with the film when Wicked Game plays. I don't know why. I think it's the night time and then the instrumental, and it just gets me instantly into it.
And it's a phenomenal song. Why don't people? I think it's because of the shitty female cover that came out, and it was like it turned into like a pop song a few years back, and it was like a Love Island montage, is like near the end of the episode when they're about to break up, and it was like, "Oh, I don't wanna fall in love," but then when you actually go back and listen to Chris Isaak Wicked Game, phenomenal fucking song, great track.
Chester Desmond.
Yeah, Chester Desmond. Most of the cast in Firewalk were just Twin Peaks fans who were willing to get paid scale, and of course we have Chris Isaak. So as we discussed, not really an Oscar sweep. No, there is one nomination.
Oh, really?
Yes, right, but without seeing, what do you think the one nomination would be? I'm going to tell you it's a performance.
Oh. Okay, wait.
Think Oscars. Don't think what the best performance in the movie is. Think Oscars. Think how
Diane Ladd.
It is Diane Ladd,
Yeah.
So this was the Dances with Wolves year, or as lots of us revisionist people like to call it, what should have been the Goodfellas year. I mean, it just makes me upset every time we do this with Lynch, because there isn't a single Lynch movie, I don't think, that shouldn't be nominated for cinematography or editing or all of these elements, but they never are. Diane Ladd gets nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Loses
Go
on, sir.
Never mind.
Loses to Whoopi for Ghost. And Lorraine Bracco as Karen in Goodfellas. Karen, that's all we had, Karen. And does a Janice Rossi live here? Does a Janice Rossi live here? Love Goodfellas.
I do love Lorraine Bracco though.
I do love Lorraine. Why didn't Lorraine Bracco go into more?
Have you seen Sopranos?
No, I haven't seen Sopranos. That's my big TV black hole. I know.
Love it. You love it. Especially Lorraine Bracco. She's in it. She's in the main cast.
I fucking love Lorraine Bracco. My biggest Oscar travesty is that Shirley MacLaine wasn't nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Postcards from the Edge, but that's a different film, and we've already done that episode. If you're allowed one more nomination, Jay. You're allowed one nomination.
Only one.
You're only allowed one.
Ah, crap.
Because in the real world, Wild at Heart's not getting more than 2 nominations.
How dare you? I mean, yeah. I'd say Best Supporting Actor, Willem Dafoe.
Oh, good choice. And especially a good choice when you've got Al Pacino in Dick Tracy. I mean, I love Al Pacino as much as the next guy. But I didn't know Longtime Companion actually got nominated for Oscars. Have I remembered this wrong? I thought Longtime Companion was a TV movie. I've completely remembered this wrong, and I feel ashamed as a film fan. I feel dirty and ashamed.
Just stop the podcast right here.
I decline.
This is the final episode.
This is done. Jay, what are your nominations for Best Single Minute?
Okay, so the Sherilyn Fenn bit.
Glorious.
The end when he gets back up after falling on the floor while being beaten up.
Yeah. And then Lula! And he runs. And again, it should be so stupid and so ridiculous. But it's that Badalamenti score, and it's Cage's performance and Lynch's camera work, and then eventually Laura Dern's performance when we get to her, and it gets you every time. It's obscene how well it works. Phenomenal stuff. I have here, as we talked about, the initial stare with Bob Ray Lemon. The story about Uncle Pooch, I think, is very well delivered.
Yeah. And
intriguingly delivered, because Laura Dern's not telling him the whole truth. You know, mother didn't know anything. But actually, that was one of the things where her mother was a good mother, and she cared for her, and she was... Maybe we could see that as an origin for her being so caring, is that she knows that there are horrible people in this world that, you know, sodomize her daughter. And she was good about that. And then I love that she's still not truthful as it continues. He was in a car accident. I mean, that's not even a Tom's Big Question, is it? Like, they definitely killed Uncle Pooch.
Yeah.
And just intriguingly told. And then I love the toilet flashback with Diane Ladd. You want to fuck Lula's mother? You want to fuck Lula's mother? Very fun. No.
No. He's so good in this.
In life, you never know what's going to come along next. And there's very tender moments, and then there's very violent moments, and then there's confusion and despair, and then suddenly you're in love. So there's got to be room for all these things, you know, in a film.
Can I talk to Lula?
You are not gonna see him ever.
Film, in my mind, should have contrast in it. It should have many, many different kinds of, you know, feelings, you know, all, you know, weaving their way throughout. Along the way, you get some shocking things and some tender things.
You want me to shoot Sailor in the brains with a gun?
You move me, Seal. You really do.
Wild at Heart is a love story that barrels along down a strange highway.
What's your favorite Nicolas Cage film? Removing all concepts of, you know, people spend so much time talking about, oh, he's really good actually, and he's just doing things. No, just everything's the same. What's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie?
Well, I mean, I loved National Treasure when I was younger,
Mm.
but more recently, I'd say probably Mandy.
Oh yeah, yeah, good choice. I'm a big Con Air guy. I love Con Air. I mean, Leaving Las Vegas, I mean, is objective. Like there's a reason he won that Oscar. It is completely understandable. He's phenomenal in that film. And it's so depressing. And it's made only more depressing by the fact that the guy who wrote it like killed himself before it came out. So it's like there's a couple of times where that's happened, and it's just so bleak, and adds a bleakness to a pretty bleak movie anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do love Con Air, but I do love him very much in this. I also have here the Crispin Glover story as Uncle Del with the gloves. Did you not notice that it was Crispin Glover?
No, I didn't.
Oh, Marty. Oh. Take your hands off of her.
Yeah, that was heartwarming. Ish.
Ish. Yeah. I love the Wicked Game, that bit, and at night, and the car story, and all that. It's great mood. I think it's what the kids would call a vibe, Jay.
Yes, a vibe. There's this thing called a vibe. I don't know what it is.
They say my movies are vibes because there's music that they like and dialogue.
The Roadhouse has a nice vibe.
The Roadhouse, which is my personally curated nightclub, I would not be. Why didn't they do? I mean, I don't really want this, but like an entire episode at the Roadhouse where it's just performance after performance after performance.
Yeah, I think on the From Z to A Blu-ray, you can watch all the full performances.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, including one that wasn't in the show.
Oh, no, I have the limited edition Twin Peaks and The Return. I don't have the From Z to A. Didn't splurge out on that one. And then Cheryl Lee is the angel.
Yeah.
Who is just wonderful. And again, that Lynchian eye, so perfect as Glinda the Good Witch. I want to Google this now. What has Cheryl Lee done since?
She was in House MD, perhaps.
Yeah, like what? Well, this is the thing. Her IMDb picture perfectly personifies her. It's black and white, and she looks like an old movie star. And I really think that this was a thing that obviously Lynch is obsessed with. You know, the idea of Twin Peaks originally came from returning to the Marilyn Monroe story and looking at all of that. And obviously you can see the Monroe links all the way through. Oh yeah, she's in Cafe Society, which is a sub-par Woody Allen movie, but she's fine in it. But yeah, why isn't she just in more? It's upsetting. This is why I want to be a director, Jay.
Yeah.
I want to be a Tarantino instead of, you know, bringing all these people back that I like. And yeah, she's just perfect, and it brings home. And whereas some of the Wizard of Oz stuff I think is a bit too on the nose, I think this one you completely go with, and you are so in, and you're in. What else can I say?
So I'm trying to find a quote I wrote down from that scene, but I can't find it.
That's all
I
right.
found it quite funny. It was when Sailor's on the floor and he's like, "I'm not wild at heart. I'm a rogue, blah blah blah." And
See, this is the thing. For me, I would rather take 10 more Wizard of Oz references than anybody saying wild at heart again.
Oh my god.
It's when they say wild at heart that annoys me, I have to say.
The world is wild at heart.
Yeah, it's not working for me. I'm sorry. Best line, Jay, you did it this morning. I walked in, I was making my toast, and you were wearing your robe.
Is it fuck me, Reggie?
No, it wasn't that. It was this is a snakeskin jacket, and for me it's a symbol of my individuality and my belief in personal freedom.
Yeah, that one too. Yes. That's good.
I think we talked about this before on these episodes, but underrated as a dialogue writer. Lynch really writes in. People always talk about the visuals and the characters and all this sort of stuff. Underrated as a dialogue writer. Really interesting, intriguing, funny at times, dramatic dialogue. Uh-oh, baby. You'd better get me to that hotel. You got me harder than Georgia asphalt.
Yeah.
Jay.
Bono, capital O.
Again, insane. Bono with a capital O. Jay, you know, this doesn't have to be relationship therapy, but would you ever talk about a previous love encounter in that much graphic detail to your current partner?
No, I would not.
And also, what would you expect? Would you expect her to be really turned on by this, or would you expect a slap?
A slap.
Yes, I think
a hard slap.
I think that's what I'd expect too.
Yeah.
I'd like to apologize to you, gentlemen, for referring to you all as homosexuals. You've taught me a valuable lesson in life. Again, very, I guess in a way dated, but I never see it as dated because there are people that use homophobic slurs. Yeah. Sailor, as much as we love Sailor, isn't a great man.
No.
You know, he's a violent man and he's a brutal man. Okay. But he then says that homophobic slur. And then once more, Lynch can't help but make everybody human and bring us into this world, and they all forgive him, and it's wonderful. Yeah. The way your head works is God's own private mystery. Jay, top lines. What are top lines for you?
Top lines. I think obviously the snakeskin jacket one. 1 second.
Dead air, Barry. Dead air.
I'd say the Jack Nance. This line. Toto.
Maybe you thought it was Toto.
Yeah. I quote that a lot, actually.
It's a good quotable line. Yeah. Well, then, if you're stumping for what's lines, let's talk about Wizard of Oz, because it's time for what's the change. So, go. What's not working for you?
I want less Wizard of Oz. Why?
What doesn't work for you? Is it too obvious? Is it, you know?
I mean,
it is Lynch's favorite film.
Yeah, I'd say just less of it. I'd still keep it. Just like maybe the constant nature of it.
I think it's the visual stuff works for me. I think it's when it gets spoken that I start going, oh, like, I'm sorry, it's not the Emerald City, baby. And all, you know,
the yellow brick road.
We've been going down this yellow brick road for too long, and she looks like the Wicked Witch of the West, and all that sort of stuff. Whereas I think I was going to say subtle. It's not subtle to have Diane Ladd flying by on a broomstick, but I do think that works. I do think the the image of the globe from Wizard of Oz works. How do we feel about the ending of Diane Ladd melting or burning or whatever, disappearing on the frame? Love beats all, I guess.
Yes. I don't know.
Love does.
I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It's just part of it for me. It's just part of this wacky world. Do you have any other changes?
I don't know.
I have a stupid one. Would a nightclub go from thrash metal to playing Elvis that quickly without any issues?
Yes. No, it wouldn't. But I wouldn't change it.
Again, it doesn't. You don't question. These are things I actually would change. Nicolas Cage's stupid prosthetic nose at the end of this movie after he's been bust up. It's so bad, and I don't know if it's intentionally bad or not. It doesn't work for me. And I also don't like baby voice guy at the bar. It's one of those Lynchian non sequitur brief moments that takes me out instead of.
Yeah, I was debating that in my brain, but
Lynch was one of the most fun people to work with, and it was partly because he was so clear. He gave me a beautiful setup. People imagine sometimes that, a good actor's director is someone that talks to you and pulls you aside and tells you how to do things. That hasn't been my experience. My experience is they create a world, or they create a setup, or invite you to collaborate in such a way that there's a logic to what you're doing. You're clear, and the beautiful things happen in your presence or your commitment. You're experiencing the things that are happening. The best experiences are always when you get a good setup, and David Lynch gave me such a good setup and really didn't give me any choices, like in terms of costume. He basically brought this thing out on a hanger and said, Willem, this is your costume. And I was good with that. Normally, you'd have a conversation with this is what I think, this is what you think, blah, blah, blah. But it was very direct.
I have to say. What's left from Jay's notes?
Nothing. Well, I mean, I couldn't actually find my notes. I don't know which I wrote it in, but nothing really. I enjoyed it.
It's really great. A weird note I noticed, it opens, so this is before they made the Cape Fear remake. This movie opens with Cape Fear, and I thought, oh, that's odd. But of course, this is 6 years before they remake Cape Fear. But what's even odder to me, and I don't know what Scorsese and Lynch's relationship is, they do sex the exact same way in both this and the 1996 Cape Fear remake, when Nick Nolte and Jessica Lange have sex. He's taking my daughter! He's taking my daughter! Nick Nolte is insane in that movie. It's wonderful. See, he's coming onto my property! I buried the file! You're gonna know what pain you don't know what hurt is. You're gonna learn about hurt. He says something about learning about hurt. Love Cape Fear. Counselor. Can love Cape Fear. Love Cape. Let's just do Cape Fear. We already have on the show. But they do sex the same way, where it's graphic sex and then fading to a color frame, bright glow frame, which is very odd to me.
I liked it.
Oh, I like it too. I just thought it was weird about them both.
Oh, the link.
The Cape Fear link. And also, a return note. So in The Return, Sarah Palmer's always watching graphic things on her TV. The first time we see her, she's just watching a nature program, but it's not really a proper nature program. It's just it's pretty graphic, and it's like animals tearing apart things. And that's exactly what Harry Dean Stanton's watching in his motel.
Well, is it the exact same video?
I don't know if it's the exact same video, but it's another video of animals mauling and tearing apart a thing. So just had me wondering about maybe this concept of these little, it's one of these metaphors that.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like nature.
And it didn't get brought up in his 4.5 hour bloody video, so I clearly understand Twin Peaks more than that guy.
I'm never watching that.
Don't watch it. I did half an hour because I thought it might be interesting. And it was just so didactic. This is the truth. This is it. This is Twin Peaks understood. And I thought, oh my God, you sound like a Watch Mojo video, but you just spent 4.5 hours on this. Well, no, he's clearly spent more.
Moments.
Yeah. Top 10. Have you watched the top 10 David Lynch movies Watch Mojo video?
Yes.
And they've just clearly ranked them on the IMDb ratings and gone, this is a crazy movie. It's very annoying. Alternate ending corner, there isn't one. The ending that we... Actually, I didn't have a look at the book. Let me have a look if the book is any different. The Barry Gifford book. I think Barry Gifford wrote the book that... there's not much notes here. It's a 1990 novel. So it came out the same year as Wild at Heart. So presumably, it was same sort of time. I presume that Lynch must have seen something, or oh my God, it's followed by multiple books. Wild at Heart begins the adventures of two sex-driven star-crossed protagonists, Sailor and Luna. It is followed by Sailor's Holiday, The Wild Life of Sailor and Luna, 59 Degrees and Raining, the story of Perdita Durango, Sultans of Africa, Consuela's Kiss, Bad Day for the Leopard Man, and Imagination of the Heart. These were reviews of the book at the time. In the visual equivalent of sound bites, novelist and poet Gifford cuts to the heart with sharply focused shots of young lovers on the lam. And Kirkus Reviews wrote that Gifford's South is ersatz, tarred up with forget-me-not cafes and Dixie beer. His Romeo and Juliet more treacly than tragic. I don't know. I have no intention to read the book, I have to say. But we do have a few fun facts, Jay, as you won't be surprised to hear. Willem Dafoe is actually urinating in the toilet when he goes to see Laura Dern. Apparently, Dafoe had drunk a lot of bottled water and really needed to go. Only later did he find out that the toilet was not a working one and some poor crew member had to clean it.
Oh, no.
Willem!
Oh, Willem.
That's the scene we haven't talked about it. The fuck me. So insane and visceral and horrible.
Yeah.
And brilliantly performed.
And the way it ends.
Oh yeah, it's just all about power. It's all about power and nothing else. That's it for him. During filming, Laura Dern passed out when David Lynch asked her to smoke 4 cigarettes at once in one deep inhalation. When she came to, he saw a worried Lynch standing above her asking, "Tidbit, are you all right?" The snakeskin jacket Sailor wears in the film was actually Nicolas Cage's own. Cage asked David Lynch if he could wear the jacket in the film as a tribute to Marlon Brando's role in The Fugitive Kind, which is in turn based on a Tennessee Williams play. So that sort of, so bad. I don't yawn at all, and then I yawn during shows. It's very annoying. Nicolas Cage states that Wild at Heart helped him get away from method acting, saying that David Lynch's spontaneous rewrites and the film's odd characters helped him be more playful with his acting.
It's good.
Before filming, Laura Dern and Nick Cage went on a road trip to Las Vegas in order to bond and get a handle on their characters. It was Dern's idea, with her stating, "We agreed Sailor and Lula had to be one person, one character, and we would share it." So here we go. Yeah. So here we go. Let's talk about this Cannes Film Festival. So it got screened in a 2,400-seat grand auditorium. After the screening, it received wild cheering. That's a quote. However, when jury president Bernardo Bertolucci announced Wild at Heart as the Palme d'Or winner, the boos almost drowned out the cheers, with film critic Roger Ebert leading the vocal detractors. Barry Gifford remembers that there was a prevailing mood that the media was hoping Lynch would fail. But I don't understand. It's not like Blue Velvet won Best Picture or anything. Like, people talk about wanting to hate James Cameron. I don't understand wanting a Lynchian failure.
Yeah, I know. And I think that kind of led somewhere with, obviously, If I Walk With Me.
Well, yeah. I mean, that got seriously viewed.
I don't really get what their attitude was to want him to fail, and then eventually kind of ensuring that he failed If I Walk With Me. Yeah.
Well, I think the failure of Fire Walk With Me makes more sense to me. Because I think if I went into a movie theatre in 1993 or whatever, I'd be a little bit annoyed too. I think on a second watch, I'd go, okay, this isn't what I thought it was, but this is excellent.
Yeah.
But on a first watch, I'd go, wait.
Yeah, I don't think I enjoyed it on my first watch.
Well, this you would be disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, it's undoubtedly disappointing. If you don't know that it's not going to solve anything, and it's a movie about Laura Palmer, then you would be disappointed. That's a natural thing. It was included among the American Film Institute's 2000 list of the 500 movies nominated for the top 100 funniest American movies.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Originally, after Johnny is killed by Joanna and her henchman, fuck me, Reggie, there was a sex scene involving Juana and Reggie. Test audiences found the scene to be too disturbing, and 50% of the audience walked out.
Amazing.
And we've only got 2 taglines: a film by David Lynch and a love story. It is both of those things.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about complete David Lynch rankings on our Inland Empire episode. But at current, on this rewatch, before a rewatch of his LA trilogy, where is this sitting for you? What did you get, if anything, new out of this rewatch of Wild at Heart?
One moment.
Oh my God, it's disappeared.
Must I? One sec. Because I feel like this and Lost Highway swap places a lot every time I rank them.
Yeah.
But they're normally around, I'd say, behind Eraserhead. But I enjoy it more than Elephant Man.
Yeah, that makes that tracks to me. Jay, a shorter episode this time, but any final thoughts on Wild at Heart?
No.
No, it's pretty great fun, wild and wacky. Wild at Heart. It's Wild at Heart. You know what annoys me? Trying to find this on streaming sites, and people always coming up with people saying, why don't they put Wild at Heart on Netflix? I love Wild at Heart. But they're talking about that show about the English people moving to Australia. Which this isn't.
Yeah, I remember seeing that when I was trying to watch this.
Yes, it's certainly not that. It is its own marvelous, perverted, deeply dark, deeply unsettling, wonderful thing, and it's just terrific. Jay, it's been a pleasure. We move to LA next week. It's time for Lost Highway. No, it's not. No, it's not, because we've already recorded. No, I'm right.
Yeah.
Lost Highway next, yeah. And then because he takes a break in his LA trilogy for Straight Story, and then he's back with Mulholland, and then Inland Empire. Yeah. So we are going to LA. I love LA. Do you like the I Love LA song by Randy Newman? Because I do.
Of course you do.
I love Randy Newman. I fucking love Randy Newman.
Da ba da ba da ba da da.